Okay, this is a brief video to show you how to utilize some functions of Qualtrics. So you sign into Qualtrics by going to Wolverine Access and signing in. And then I have it down here, but your mileage may vary and you may have to search for it in the box up there. Okay, so I am going to sign in immediately, and it's going to show me some of my projects that already exist. You will have to create a new project. We're going to create a new survey. And it's going to try to give you some, advice to get started. You can follow that if you wish. I'm not going to test survey for video, and I am going to store this in my archive because I will never look at it again. And I'm going to create a blank survey project. I kind of suggest that too, unless you really want to go through templates, but just create a blank one. So there's a default question block, and you may have multiple blocks, because what I really want to show you is how to skip around to different questions based on how people answer. So let's say, well, just to orient you, I guess, it starts with a default question block. I'll call this block 1. And then over here is your survey builder tools. So there's builder. This is survey flow. If you want to, I don't ever go here, but if you want to, mess with your blocks here. This is look and feel. If you want to try to add banners, or, these are the ones to which I have access to, but you want to add some, artistry. This is some of the settings. I don't think you'll need to mess with the settings. Yeah, because this is just like security. If you want to make sure that people can't take this multiple times, you want to detect bots, you want to collect certain kinds of metadata, but you probably don't need to do any of that. If you want to, this is post survey, if you want to change your messaging, so it just says sort of thank you for taking the survey, if you want to change that in some way. You don't need quotas, that's for research. And this is other kinds of languages you can do. So we're going to go back here. So this is the default screen you see. And you'll see different question types. There's multiple types. And some of these are really fun, but a lot of them are really hard to analyze. So something like side by side, that looks super cool. But unless you're just looking at descriptive data, which shows you just counts of, how many people answered a certain way or what someone did, this is going to be, something like this is going to be more complicated. So keep it as simple as you can, basically. Something like this is about as complicated as I would get. But let's go back to the multiple choice. So let's say, what kinds of ice cream do you like? Okay, and we're going to go to, it's going to default to try to give you a Likert scale, and that's pretty nice. It saw like, and it's like, I like this, I don't like this. Well, let's change this then, because that'll be easier. How much do you like ice cream? Well, okay, just so I don't have to change these. I was going to do chocolate vanilla, but this is fine. Okay, so it's going to default to 5 choices. Notice if you want to do 3, oops, it'll still keep the basic Likert structure. Let's not do 7. Let's do 5, okay? I want to add a new question down here, okay? Here's that question. How well do you like cake? Okay. And come down here, and it's going to give me the instant Likert again. Very handy, dandy. Okay. Now, I want to do a block of questions. I'm going to do a new block. I'm going to call this block 2. Block 2. Okay. I'm going to add a new question. Let's do this multiple choice. And I want this to only appear to people who say they dislike cake a whole lot. So let's say, does this apply to all kinds of cake equally? This is obviously not a very interesting survey, right? Yes, no, maybe. I'm going to take out maybe because that doesn't do a lot for me. So I'm going to take out maybe, but I'm going to add other. And you can add other, and then if you click over here, you have the option to allow text entry. So if they click other, they have the option to put in something like, you know, nope, I just really hate cake or whatever. But what I really want to show you is how to make this, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, shucks, come on now. If I were doing this more carefully, I would edit this out, but I'm not going to do that. It's to show you how this appears. So this is going to be a display logic. So for this question, so if question number 2, how well do you like cake? If they say dislike cake a great deal, is selected, or if they say dislike cake somewhat, is selected. Okay. Now this has a display logic so that only if they answer this in a certain way will they even see this. It's a way to keep all the questions in a survey relevant and to keep the survey shorter because people don't have a lot of time and won't take a lot of time. Another way to do this is a skip logic, and it just sort of says it's a similar way of if they, it's really about a whole block. So if you have a whole block of questions related to cake, you can put a skip logic on the question here and say, just don't show any of these questions in the block unless they've answered a certain way. But you're not making a very complicated survey, so I think this should suffice. Once you are done, you hit publish, okay? It will review your questions, and it's mainly going to review that you don't have too many text entry questions, but you know, whatever. And then it will give you a URL. If you ever need that again, you can come back up here to distributions, and you can get an anonymous link. Ta-da! And also, if you wish to share the survey with me, this is an odd way of doing this, but you have to come up here to Tools, okay? And then go to Collaborate, and then you can enter my information. And you can share that with me or anyone, and I'll have access to the survey and the results. I can edit the survey directly in it if you want me to review it. So I think that's pretty much it. There's a ton you can do with this, especially when you get to data analysis and results. But for now, for just building the survey, I think that's probably sufficient. All right, good luck.